But we're going to move on to the second place Eagles, who came in with a record of 11-6. And the Eagles were just right on the heels of the Cowboys. But the biggest thing for the Eagles is they just kind of fell apart at the end. And when it fell apart hard. I think it had a lot to do with them losing offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator all in the same season. And that was a humongous loss for them. Brandon, buddy, Eagles, man, they went from being one of the top teams, looking great Super Bowl run, to what the hell happened?
Yep. I mean, that's what happens when you come to Tampa Bay and Ray J and play the Bucks in the playoffs. You underestimate
Damn.
us when we look stupid.
Damn.
Straight up stupid. Nah, I'm just
It's like
we got
that.
the rematch coming up in week 4, I believe, so that's gonna be fun.
Fuck that.
No, but to be upfront, yeah, that losing your coordinators does not help you at all in any way, shape, or form. So I will say this, the Phillies offseason, they I think have done just about everything to kind of right this ship, turn it around. And I'm getting very much like from this offseason, I'm getting that dream team. I want to say 2010 or 2011, maybe 2012 Philly Eagles that just brought in everybody like that, those kind of vibes. Because literally, I mean, from the draft, you've got two of the top cornerbacks that were available in Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. In free agency, like, yeah, you lose Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox. Those are going to be big names to retirement. But you're bringing in Saquon Barkley, just reading off the list, CJ Gardner Johnson. You're bringing in so many different players, I think, that are going to be, impactful for this team. And you're also shoring up some of the positions as well, signing 2 centers just to replace Kelsey. So I think they're trying just about everything they can to kind of rebuild, retool, and kind of make last year kind of an anomaly.
Yeah, I agree. And they also, it's not, I think it can't go without saying too, is that they brought in Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. And Kellen Moore's seemed like he's been a pretty good offensive coordinator. He was with the Cowboys, he was with the Chargers. So he seems like he knows what he's doing in that position.
Mhm.
It just that was like I think they're one of their biggest things. They like I was saying before, they started out great, and then all of a sudden the wheels just fell off. When they fell off, they were riding on the rim, if you will. G Mike, as a Cowboys fan, I'm sure you're probably okay with them on that bad streak they went on. But what's your outlook on the Eagles, bud?
Dude, I think that bad streak came from within the locker room, the culture that was being brought out from that middle of the season to the end of the season. I think it took a wild turn there for them, and it made things in a negative manner when it came to their on-field play, their locker room environment, and everything else that has to do with the organization. I think that's why they went really downhill for them. But the upside for them is that they're doing what the Cowboys didn't this offseason and improving their team. Yes, they lost Jason Kelsey, but like Brandon alluded to, they're bringing in 2 centers to try to replace him. They're going to try and make that as competitive as possible to see who really wants that spot. They bring in an amazing running back, Saquon Barkley, from their divisional rival, the New York Giants, to go to the Eagles to replace DeAndre Swift, that he's, I would say, 2-3 times better than the running back that he is. They were acquire Devin White from Brandon's Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which he's an amazing leader. You've seen it on and off the field. He's going to bring some defensive tenacity for them. So they improve on both sides of the ball, man. And no lie, they could take this division, and they could probably take the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah.
I think
And
I think the addition of Cooper DeJean is going to be really interesting for them as well. I think that if you haven't got a chance to watch any, I don't know how many Iowa football fans we got out there, but there's a big nation of Iowa football fans. That kid put up some numbers, man, and he played big boy football in Big Ten. So I think that that's a very underrated signing, actually. And getting him in the second round was a steal. I feel like.
yeah, and just some other underrated moves though too they got in the draft, ones that I wasn't able to name. Will Shipley from Clemson to kind of pair
I saw
alongside
that too. That's a good one.
Quan,
Yeah.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. to kind of pair in that middle linebacker spot with White, and then Johnny Wilson from Florida State, big body target, somebody that in that system he's probably not going to be the wide receiver 3. He'll probably be like maybe 4 or 5, but still, if you got like a 4 wide receiver set and one of those guys is 6'6", like 215, you're sleeping pretty good right there if you're Jalen Hurts, like has so many big body options to throw to. So they really tried not just in free agency but also in the draft just to surround Hurts with as much talent as they could while also trying to improve positions that they needed to. So honestly, like this is probably one of the best, if not the best, off seasons in the NFL for any team.
Yeah, and let's not forget too, they also locked up AJ Brown for long term. Devontae Smith isn't going anywhere. Getting the acquisition of Saquon Barkley is a big deal. I do find it. I think this is going to be a major year for the Eagles, and I respect the hell out of the Eagles front office. Not only did he the GM go to the UF, go Gators, but had to get that one out there real quick. But having said that, he's also not afraid to make moves, and they make moves all the time. They are never idle, and I love that about them. They always make either coaching moves, or they'll sign players, or they'll get rid of players. And so they're I believe it's Roseman. He does a hell of a job with doing that. I also have find a storyline coming out has been that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts don't seem like they're necessarily on the same page. And so I think this is a big year for them, because if the Eagles fail, I think Sirianni's gone. Just having said that, because of the GM, they don't wait around for stuff to fall apart. They see the writing on the wall and they make the move. They're very aggressive. So I think if Sirianni and Hurts can't mend the relationship, whatever's going on with that, Hurts seems like the ultimate football player, so I can't imagine it'd be hard to get along with. And that just could have been maybe because they were losing and it's hard to get along. You know, some people can't handle that, and Hurts seems like a winner. You know, and he's had to deal with diversity. But I think if Sirianni doesn't get it together this year, he could be replaced. So I think that's a big storyline coming into this year, as the Eagles fans should be watching out for.